Something you should have at the back of your mind. We often tell our daughters not to give their bodies to any man that isn't their husband, which is absolutely true. Some reasons being that he might exchange your destiny, he might leave you out in the cold, he might be an ascetic man, etc. Wait for your right husband. But do you know that most times we do not really wait for the perfect will of God, we go for the permissive will, and we end up bringing in an ascetic spouse, thereby ruining your life. That same thing you were actually avoiding during your single stage as a man, as a woman, you might end up meeting it in your marriage, and it might even end up being worse. Totally cancel that notion that states that you would have to hear from a man of God to know if he is the one for you or if she is the one for you. I personally do not believe in that, because I can tell you a number of marriages who went towards that direction, but right now they are destroyed, tarnished, all down, and even the spouse that the man of God had claimed was actually ideal for them ended up being ascetic till date. Now, this is another angle. If a man of God, your dream, or people around you, and you see that they are reasonable people, decline the union you are about entering into, please don't go in. If you have further questions, please drop it in the comment section and I will respond to you. And for the few that left messages on TikTok, please, I will also respond to you in a different video. Now to the main story. He offered me a seat next to his pool. I enjoyed the air while we talked. At that moment, I had no worries. He asked what I was doing and I told him. He asked if I would work in one of his factories, which I quickly nodded my head with great excitement. When we were done with every discussion, he went into his house, brought out a brown envelope and handed it to me. He told me that tomorrow he would pick me up at so place and that I should get ready. And also I should prepare my mind to start work the following week. I was excited. While I headed out with that envelope, I opened it and I saw huge amount of cash. It seemed too good to be true. When I tried turning my back, he had already gone into his house. The gateman followed me suit to lock the gate. On my way home, I bought a black nylon. That was where I put the brown envelope, just to create a camouflage so I wouldn't be robbed. I got home and I counted the fresh mint. It was all in mint. From the first day he gave me cash was in mint, as though he was just coming back from the bank. I counted it and everything summed up 350,000. I tried calling him that evening, but he didn't pick. I tried the next day, he didn't pick. So I had to wait for the exact day we had made plans to meet at that same place. He said he would pick me. I went for a total wardrobe change. I also invested some of the money into my business. I was super excited. My original plan was, even though I was working in his factory, I would also be selling my thrift wares. So the day of the exact meeting was with us. I wore my pair of jeans with my new sneaker and a clean top, clean shave. When he picked me up from the spot, he looked at me from head to toe. I felt deep down I might have slightly overdressed. When we got to the venue, everybody welcomed me as though they were waiting for me that day. They booked an entire lounge. Whatever they were celebrating wasn't clear to me, but I was new and I only knew just my old friend. I sat down close to the bar and minded my business. At a point, he called me to introduce me to some of his work colleagues according to him. They looked at me from head to toe and gave me a weird smile. After the whole hanging out, he dropped me off at my place and I went in. I thanked him for the union, even though I had no idea what it was for. That night, can you believe that the same meeting we had that evening with the strange people had the same replica in my dream, but this time around they were all in black. And when I tried peeping to see their faces, at least to recognize some, I noticed they had the eyes of a beetle. Whatever they were saying in that meeting, I had no idea. I stayed there, mute, locked up in my body. All I could do was just to look and listen. That was it. It was hard for me to identify anyone. The following day, I woke up confused. I had no idea that from the moment he gave me the first cash, the process of my initiation had begun.